Canadians didn't always drive on the right-hand side of the road. In fact, British Columbia was the last province to switch over from the British driving rules. On July 15, 1920, it was made mandatory to drive on the right in most of the mainland of BC. Public notices were posted in newspapers and in public buildings announcing the changes. In some towns like Vernon, for example, four-sided pillars were erected at main intersections with "Keep Right" signs painted on all four sides to remind motorists to turn right to merge with oncoming traffic at intersections. Henceforth, people in BC drove on the right, primarily in left-hand drive vehicles. In Vancouver, the Lower Mainland, and Vancouver Island, however, they continued to drive on the left. The bottom line is that for nearly 17 months, there were two sets of driving rules in BC, depending on where you lived. This caused confusion, especially for tourists entering from the United States to visit the BC interior. They would enter Canada driving on the right side, drive through the Lower Mainland on the left, only to switch over to the right again for the rest of the province. In the beginning, it took time for the province to make that switch to the right, and the first recorded mention to make a change was in 1912, a full 8 years after the first vehicles were registered in BC. Finally, after much opposition and deliberation, the decision was made during the First World War to go ahead, but to wait until the war was over to implement the change. The legislation was passed by the BC Parliament, and the timing of the phased switchover was put into place. Most of British Columbia made the switch in 1920, but the conversion was delayed in the southern portion of the province because of the need to retrofit the streetcar system. BC eventually made the full switch at 6 a.m. on Sunday, January 1, 1922, and all vehicles in Vancouver, the Lower Mainland, and Vancouver Island, cars, trucks, streetcars, and horse-drawn wagons, had to shift from driving on the left side of the road to the right, in line with the rest of the province and Canada. Motorists didn't seem to have a problem making the switch, and newspapers didn't report on any significant accidents, mainly because the change happened over a holiday weekend, and a few days of reduced speed was enough for everyone to get used to the new rules. Remember that in 1922, horse-driven carriages were still very common, and horses are creatures of habit. They had a much more difficult time getting out of the habit of driving on the left. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, there are a few things you can do to support our channel. Give it a thumbs up, share with your friends, and leave a comment. Let us know if there's a BC story you'd like us to cover in a future episode. For more content about Canada, please consider subscribing and ringing the bell icon to be notified of our next video upload.